Now, what is team-based learning? Here I've been a bit lazy, so I didn't prepare my own presentation, so I just downloaded one from the internet, but it explains everything, and I think it's alright. So, team-based learning is a particular structured form of flipped classroom, and it is based on the idea that you do everything in teams. So these teams are formed in the beginning of a semester, and they last for at least the whole semester, sometimes even longer. For example, here at NTU, all the classes at the medical school are conducted through team-based learning, and their teams last for 2 years. After that, they go to different specialties, specializations, and that's it. But at least for 2 years, they have the same team. Anyway, I want to see what's going to happen if you keep the team that you had in Algorithms and Computing 3. So if you want to do that, please tell me. If you want to form a new team, then teams will be formed at random on the second week of the semester. Right? So in the first week, you will try to just see how it works with some random people, but on the second week of the semester, we'll form teams that will stay until the end. Alright, and then every time before you even come to class, you are supposed to study the material. So usually it means that you have to watch the online lecture. If you don't want to watch the online lecture, you can read the textbook. It is up to you. The textbook contains all the material. But you must have done it before class, because when you come to class, the first 40 minutes, maybe an hour, is going to be spent on little tests to ensure that you have actually read that you have actually watched the videos. Alright, so there will be a lot of multiple choice questions testing the knowledge of the content. Every class. And then after this is over, you'll solve more complicated so-called application exercises as a team. And then in the end of the semester, there is peer evaluation, so which means you have to grade each other's work as a team. I think we are going to do it 3 times overall, maybe even 4 times. So if we do it 3 times, then maybe only one of these 3 times is going to be counted officially as a part of the grades. If it is 4 times, then maybe 2 out of the 4 will be affecting your grade. But anyway, there will be peer evaluation. So the idea here is that you learn collectively, you learn together, and that's why it is important that your team stays fixed for a long period of time, because you only learn how to work as a team, as time goes by, and maybe closer to the end of the semester you really get good collaboration. So that's why teams remain the same for the whole semester, and after the second week, it is impossible to change the teams. Okay, then we don't have a final exam, so instead a bulk of assessment, 40%, is going to be used for learning. In particular, the whole process of study is organized like this. So first you study before the class. Then in class you have a multiple choice question test, very, very simple, just to ensure that you have actually studied. So if you watch the video carefully, making sure that you understand everything, then you'll be able to answer 100% of these questions. So then it is followed by the team readiness assurance, which is the same test, but now the whole team has to agree. you had this little thing, Ira and Tira, in the Algorithms and Computing 3 on the 5th week, as far as I remember, when the teams were formed and you got to know each other. So it was called a team bonding activity, but essentially it is the same thing. So then team readiness assurance is followed by application exercises. So these are more complicated exercises on the material. So where you don't just recall the facts, but rather you have to apply the facts in a complicated manner. Then the next stage is appeals. Then if you are not happy with the grades that you get, then you may appeal to the tutor. Strictly speaking, we are learning mathematics. Maybe in mathematics everything is much more determined than in other subjects, so maybe appeals are not going to be needed at all. But theoretically it is possible to appeal. And finally, the tutor is going to give you a little wrap-up lecture covering all those, summarizing the material that you've learned and addressing some of the issues that you had during the class. So this happens every class, ideally. But if you look at the course schedule, then sometimes we have other things scheduled, like presentations and the midterm test, and then the process of the team-based learning will have to be reduced. So then maybe we're not going to have application exercises, or maybe we're going to have very, very short individual readiness assurance and so on. All right. Then the main idea of team-based learning is that most of the time spent in class is done on doing active learning, as on applying concepts to do problem solving, rather than on staring at the lecturer. Well, why does it work? This question is a little bit controversial, because I'm not sure if anyone ever on earth applied team-based learning to teach university level mathematics. I just don't know. Frankly, team-based learning was invented to teach business courses and medicine courses, to teach courses where the lecturer actually has to present a lot of factual material. Mathematics is different in the sense that the lecturer's job is to explain material rather than to just list down the facts. But the idea, I think, is still very very promising, that since that you have a lot of opportunities to interact with your peers and with the tutor, hopefully it's going to make learning much more engaging and much more productive than usually. But again, it may be the first time ever that anyone tried team-based learning to teach mathematics. So and in the end of the semester there will be peer evaluation, and basically the reason for peer evaluation is that it is there to ensure that you actually try to contribute something to the team's performance. Before peer evaluation, there will be the same thing, but just for feedback. So there will be peer review or peer feedback, if you want to call it. And then it will be changed to peer evaluation. And of course, if you want to learn more, you will just see it in class, but if you want to do it in advance, there are books and there are numerous YouTube videos, so you can just Google team-based learning and see what it is. Alright, so thank you very much. This is team-based learning. This is what you're going to do in class most of the time, and these three types of assessment associated with team-based learning: individual readiness assurance, team readiness assurance, and application exercises are going to be 40% of the total mark.